failed peacekeeping.
Marginalization is one of the most prevalent themes in history. Most namely, we see discrimination against a certain group of people, and that group of people is mostly the Jews, at least in Europe. Anti-Semitism has been repeated throughout history. The most obvious example of this is the Holocaust. The Holocaust was a genocide of around 6 million Jewish people in Europe during World War II, under the leadership of Adolf Hitler, because he believed that the Jewish people were Untermensch, or weak people. Even today, neo-Nazis in Europe still discriminate against the Jews. Before the Holocaust, an example of anti-Semitism would be the Dreyfus Affairs, which began in 1894 and lasted until 1906 in France. The affairs claimed that Alfred Dreyfus, a Jewish French army captain, sold secrets to the German army. This claim was easily disproven, but anti-Semitism from nationalist groups continued the trials, eventually leading to ideas such as Zionism, the theory that a Jewish state should be created in Israel, and Emile Zola's work J'accuse. Dreyfus was originally convicted for this crime, but in 1906 he was proven innocent. However, the army did not formally declare his innocence until 1995.
Marginalization throughout history can also be seen in the themes of colonization and imperialism. Through beliefs such as social Darwinism created by Herbert Spencer, Europeans justified the acts of taking over other nations. These actions of imperialism were also seen as humanitarian efforts rather than invasion of a society. A great example of this is shown by the poem White Man's Burden, in which the native people of Africa were abused as slaves and viewed as weaker than the Europeans. In addition, the colonies that were created had no relation to the desires of the people. In the Conference of Berlin of 1884, the division of Africa ignored any territorial boundaries between tribes, and instead became a race to gain chunks of land.
Next, Hitler and Napoleon's war strategies were very similar, even though they were in power around a century apart. Both leaders attempted to weaken Britain during their campaigns, Napoleon through a trade bloc, and Hitler with bombing. Also, in both cases, their decisive invasions of Russia ultimately failed because of winter conditions, resulting in retreats. Finally, both of these dictators gained power in their countries because of discontent. Hitler gained power by blaming problems on the Weimar Republic and the Treaty of Versailles and a weakened Germany, while Napoleon gained power after the French Revolution. Finally, failed peacekeeping is a major theme that we can see throughout history. This is notably seen in the policies of World War I and World War II. World War I's peacekeeping failed for a number of reasons, like how the losers were not allowed in the peace talks, and is considered to have failed because the weakened Germany put Hitler in power, leading to World War II. World War II peacekeeping was not very successful either, as it led to the Cold War, which led to conflicts in Vietnam and Korea, a political stalemate between the US and Russia, and the Cuban Missile Crisis with the failed Bay of Pigs invasion.
Territorial disputes are also a cause of failed peacekeeping and can be seen repeating many times in history. For example, the territory of Alsace and Lorraine has changed hands between France and Germany 4 times since 1871 in peacekeeping attempts, but it only hurt the people living there and caused fighting over the territory. The same goes with the partitions of Poland, which brought a temporary end to the Polish state. These partitions ultimately hurt Poland and the Polish people living there. Finally, after World War I, Germany signed their armistice in a train car in France, and in a frighteningly similar event during World War II, Germany symbolically forced France to sign an armistice in the exact same train car.
In conclusion, we see that history repeats itself through marginalization with anti-Semitism, sexism, and colonization, war with the 2 30-year wars, and Hitler compared to Napoleon, and finally through failed peacekeeping with the failures of World War I and World War II, as well as territorial disputes.
You shall die, Carmine.
No, it's mine.